In this lesson, you'll learn more about the Android Manifest and its uses. This graphic shows a page from the Android developers website API Guide section describing the manifest file. Remember, we created a manifest in our first app project, as shown here. Every application must have an Android manifest file with precisely that name, as we have in our first app. The manifest presents essential information about the app to the Android system. Now let's take a look at our first app manifest. It contains the package name, version IDs, SDK levels, application attributes, component information, in our case, our main activity, and filters. Now let's take a look at how the manifest is used in handling your applications. The manifest is used by the Android system in conjunction with application intents. And we'll look at intents in detail in a coming lesson. For now, it's enough to understand that intents are used to start application components. And there are two types of intents, explicit and implicit. Explicit intents identify specific components by name and are typically used to start other components within an application. Implicit intents provide a set of criteria for starting a component and are typically used to start components in other applications. That criteria includes information about actions, categories, and data. The Android system looks for components that match this criteria in a filtering process. For a given component, a pass-fail test is applied. If more than one component matches the criteria, Android offers the device user the option for selecting a component. For example, if a browser is being started, the user might have the Chrome and Firefox browsers on their device, and they'd be offered the opportunity to choose which one to use, and that browser would begin its life cycle on the device using the configuration supplied by the manifest. There are a large number of standard action types, a group for activities that are to be performed, and a group for broadcasts for actions that were performed. In other words, the standard activity actions are used by activities that want to start another different activity of the specified type. The broadcast actions are used to broadcast the fact that an action of the type specified has taken place. Other activities might start up in reaction to the broadcast, or they might not, depending on the configuration on the user device. The most important and frequently used actions are the main action to start up a component as the initial activity of a task, and edit to display data for user editing. We use the main action in our first app, as shown here. A category is a string containing additional information about the kind of component that should handle the intent. Any number of category descriptions can be placed in an intent object. A very common category is the launcher, which we used in our first app, specifying that the activity will be the initial activity of a task. This graphic lists all the manifest XML tags with a link to the Android developers website for each one. We've covered a number of them already, and we'll look at more in coming lessons. So that's an overview of the manifest, and we'll learn more about the manifest in future lessons as we see how it's used in different types of applications.